afternoon. We are here today to hold an annual IEP meeting for our student Ket. And I am Becca, the special education teacher. I will be facilitating the meeting. And things first, I want to introduce all of the team members. Our first team member that I want to share is obviously Ket's parents. Thank you so much for coming to the meeting. I appreciate you being here. The next person that I'm going to be sharing is our general education teacher. Her job is going to be to share her experience with your student and how she sees your student interacting in her classroom. The next person is going to be our LEA, which is our principal. She is there as a representative of the school so that this meeting can be an official meeting. Our next person is the occupational therapist. She will be sharing her data that she has recorded, what she has been working on with your student, and goals that she is going to be proposing for your student. And she will finish up by proposing and sharing how often, the frequency of her services that she's going to recommend for your child. The next person is going to be our speech therapist. Our speech therapist will also be sharing her data that she's been taking on your student. She'll be sharing how she interacts with your student, what kind of things that they are working on in each session, and again, how often she recommends your student to be seen for speech therapy. The next person that we are going to be introducing is our physical therapist. She will also be sharing the types of assessments that she's doing. She will be sharing the things that they are working on in physical therapy, some of the deficits that she may see with your child, and also some of the strengths that she does. And she will also be sharing how often she is going to recommend that your child be seen for physical therapy. Our student is not here to participate as they are in third grade. They are invited, but they are not required to participate. The next order of business, we are going to get some signatures going, just to make sure that you guys are happy with everything in this IEP. We can talk about it, and if we need to make a revision, we'll make a revision, and then you can re-sign that. Some meeting norms that we're going to go over. I'm just looking at my notes. Some meeting norms that we're going to go over so that everyone is heard and respected. We're going to go through the list of people that I just said, starting with the general education teacher, as I know she probably has to get back to her class. And then we will have our therapists go. Whoever needs to speak, whoever wants to go first will go first. And then I, as the special education teacher, will wrap up things so that everybody is heard and respected. I understand that there can be questions and concerns, and I just ask that once everybody has finished their portion, that we hold all questions until everybody has shared, so that everybody has an equal turn. We're going to make sure that we have an X amount of time limit for everybody, just to make sure that everyone is getting to be able to speak their parts. So that's why when we have questions and everything, I just ask that everything once every person, every team member has shared their piece, then we can have questions for that if need be. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is, I'm going to pull up my notes. Next thing we're going to talk about is the present level of achievement for our student. Need to go and get my notes. So cognitively, our student Ket, she was assessed for me using the VB-MAT. She received 4 out of 5 points for the level 3 reading. Her skills are falling within level 3. She's able to attend to a book. She can select correct uppercase letters in an array of 5, labeling uppercase letters, and she can read her own name. She's not able to match words right now to their corresponding pictures. In writing, she has received 0 out of 5 for level 3 writing. She was unable to imitate 5 writing actions. In math, she received 2 out of 5 points. For level 3 mathematics, her skills fall into level 3, which equates to the developmental age of 30 to 48 months. She's able to identify numbers 1 through 5 in an array of 5 and label the numbers 1 through 5. She's unable to count out 5 objects from a larger set, identify comparisons, or match a number to a quantity. The VB map was what we assessed on. We also assess language skills. The speech therapist is using the basic levels of functional communication assessment. But during my assessment as well, we do the assessment of basic language. And now I'm going to turn it over to our occupational therapist. And if I was speaking as the occupational therapist, I would be saying she's working towards demonstrating improved visual and fine motor skills and endurance by utilizing a tripod grasp. She is benefiting from support when she's tracing and copying those pre-writing strategies. She's using her right hand mostly and a 4-fingered grasp at the tip of the pencil. She's working towards demonstrating improved bilateral and visual motor skills by using adapted scissors to cut on. She uses the spring-loaded scissors and physical support. For physical therapy, if I was the physical therapist, I would be discussing that she gets in and out of her chair by herself. With cues, she pushes herself into the table. She comes to a standing through a half kneel sequence. She walks independently throughout the building. She demonstrates some in-toeing and foot walking. She can step up and down, single steps in varying height. When her hands are held, she can take steps on a balance beam, and she's able to pedal a few revolutions, but she needs some momentum to keep going. She can throw a ball, and when sitting, she can catch a ball in her lap. Now I'm going to turn it over to speech. Speech, she is able to sit speech and my assessments as well, using the assessment of basic language. For social and emotional, actually for we'll go back to speech. She's a multimodal communicator. She uses verbal speech. She uses a communication device. She expresses with her face. She uses some vocalizations, and she uses pictures and signs to communicate throughout the day. She's working on achieving the score of 12 out of 16 on the functions of communication rubric, and working on her increased independence. There's some inconsistency when she's asking for recurrence and cessation of activities, and sometimes she's reaching and wanting items on her own. Socially and emotionally, she's sitting at a group table great. She's able to take a known reinforcement when offered and take reinforcement when she's provided with 2 options. She's unable to look at and track non-reinforcing items. During group instructions, she's able to follow a group instruction for about 50% of the time. She's not able to follow all the daily routines independently. She is not able to generalize across different instructors as well and generalize her response forms. And she's not showing interest in the behavior of others quite yet, which we're working on. I'm going to go back down to my notes. We're going to talk about the least restrictive environment next. She is requiring some frequent breaks, specialized instruction, and reinforcements in order to acquire and maintain her new skills. Her setting in the life skills support classroom, it requires her to spend majority of the time there. And minus the morning routine, recess, special, science and social studies, and special events. She is going back to her general education classroom. In life skills, she's receiving instruction that's on her academic level. Thank you. Going back down to my notes. So, I apologize for getting back into here. Next, I'm going to share the annual goals that I have developed for this student. All of these goals are based off of the VB-MAT and the assessment of basic language skills. Those are the assessments that I used to develop these goals. We're going to talk about her strengths and the needs and how those areas of needs is where I took those and developed those goals from. The next thing is that we're going to talk about how ESY is going to happen. At this present moment, ESY is a point of discussion, but because it's not wintertime yet, we haven't assessed for ESY yet, and if she qualifies. So after the winter, during the wintertime, we're going to assess your student for ESY, and we are going to decide then if she qualifies. The last thing that I'm going to talk to you about is the PASA. I'm going to discuss what PASA looks like, what type of assessment it is, and why we think that this is a good alternative for your student. Lastly, we're going to double check in case anybody is missing anything, and at each point after we finish these components, I'm going to stop and ask if you as the parents have any questions. After that, we're going to make sure we didn't miss anything signature-wise, and then our meeting will be completed. If there are some concerns, we're going to work through that together, and I'm going to listen to your input first and turn to our LEA as well and have both of us brainstorm together with you to make sure that your concerns are heard and validated, and that we can make sure that we're providing the best support for your student and that you are completely happy with the services, the way that we are doing things with your child, and that you are happy with what we're doing here. If at any point there are questions that we cannot answer at this current time because we either don't have the data, we will make sure that we give a time and get back to you in a timely fashion so that you're not thinking that we did not hear your concerns. Those questions, if we are finished, let's get started. Thank you.